So many new DeFi investors and liquidity providers, they absolutely get wrecked chasing APRs. And it's one of the few things that can actually destroy your portfolio faster than you think, because this 600% APR will not out earn the damage that you can do if you mess this up. So today I want to cover a bit about just the difference between a modest blue chip pool and then a meme coin pool and exactly what the risks do entail. There is a reason why a meme coin pool might be paying 600% or a small cap token might be paying 600%. So you never want to chase and be taking inventory of something that can just go to zero overnight. So in my last video that I launched previously, we went over Timmy and how he is running a DeFi portfolio and just exactly how some of those inner workings work. And I covered impermanent loss in that video as well. I think it's really fun to do. I liked that video making that. Now I also have Timmy's brother, Tommy. That's so dumb. But Tommy is running a Brett to ETH pool because it's saying 600% APR. He's going to get rich literally overnight because he's taking a bunch of assets that had the potential to moon and he's making 2% a day. 2% a day. Now, why can this wreck your portfolio? The reason this can wreck your portfolio is for a couple different reasons. One, I only teach you to monetize assets that you already own. If you're someone that already were to own Brett, I'm not saying these APRs are accurate for Brett to ETH either. This is just an example. It's the first meme coin that came to mind. This could be insert meme coin here. This is fart coin. This is doo-doo butthole coin. This is whatever it may be for you and what's in your portfolio, or just some low cap trash that no one's ever heard of. Not trying to be offensive, but if you're feeling offended right now, maybe take a look at your portfolio. It might be too risky. But again, if you already own it, your risk level won't change here, but it's important to note for someone that does have a portfolio that looks more like Ethereum, Bitcoin, Chainlink, Solana, etc., it's a little important to show them that it might not be worth it to get that 600% APR. And here's the reason why. When you run a liquidity pool, you are literally opening your own little store, your own little exchange, and you come in with a handful of assets. You come in with Ethereum, you come in with your USDC, whatever that asset pair may be, and your risk is the two assets you provide. So your risk is Ethereum, your risk is USDC, and you are getting paid to facilitate swaps. So people are coming and they're giving you USDC and you give them Ethereum. Or they come and they give you Ethereum and you give them USDC. And that's the game. You're a store. You're trading literally just one of the assets in the pair for the other one, and it's strictly business. And you make a percentage off every transaction. So when high volume comes in, you start to make an average return of, let's say, 80% APR on something like that. And then you have the meme coin guy. This guy is the guy that opened up his own little Pokemon store. Well, Pokemon card, and this is just a joke, right? I'm not trying to offend any Pokemon traders out there, but this guy is like, okay, I'm having so much success, I'm going to load up on Pokemon cards and packs, and then at some point, people give up on buying Pokemon cards, and all the inflated cards you bought at a high price will drop in value. Not saying that will happen or needs to happen, just trying to give somewhat of a real world example. Because here's the problem. You're opening a store and you're buying, this is worse than Pokemon cards, by the way. You're buying a fake internet coin that has no inherent value, no systems backing it. It is literally a meme coin, and you are putting, well, a big chunk of your store's equity in on that coin. And so here's what happens. Here's what happens. For a while, it's really cool because for a couple of days, people are giving you, let's say, why is this crappy, this one? For a couple of days, people are selling their Brett to you and you give them Ethereum, right? Boop. Or vice versa. They are giving you Ethereum and you are giving them Brett back, right? Nice and cool. Wrong. Not cool, because you are making your 600% APR, right? Like you're getting these fees, it's stacking up really fast, and you're like, okay, I don't even care if the asset goes down in value because I'm making so much money. Well, here's a couple of the problems, right? Because when the asset goes down in value, these things drop like a rock. Brett will lose 80% faster than you can say, fuck. And it's just the truth. And then your store gets stuck looking like this. We take these, we move these down, we take these, and you get stuck holding all this bread. Now, why did this happen? This happened because everyone came, and as the market was nuking, in a panic, they came and they threw all their bread at you, and you had to pay them out Ethereum because your store was like, okay, fuck it, we'll take it. And you ride Brett down, you have tons of Brett, which is not a bad thing if you believe in it long term. If you already held this meme coin, it's not inherently so bad, but you ride this down as low it can go, and a meme coin can go to zero. So if you're approaching this from a business mindset, you do not want the potential for your business's equity in all of its products. It's like a car dealership. You wouldn't have a car dealership selling cars that are brand new that overnight could just be worth $0. That's the whole thing. This is a dealership for crypto. And you're not, if you buy a bunch of Corvettes to sell, you're hoping to sell them for a profit, or maybe they'll appreciate, you sell them over MSRP. It's like, well, you're not going to buy a Corvette that just randomly might be worth $0. That doesn't make any sense. It's a bad business move. That's exactly why it doesn't make any sense for this, right? If the meme coin is already in your portfolio, then you're not spending any extra money or taking on any extra risk to allocate to these swaps. So therefore, it is not inherently as bad, but it is still high risk as such. And so you shouldn't be opening this just because of this. Because when the market draws down, you're still earning 80% over here, and your pool might be down like 10%, 15%, 20% in value. That's a lot because you're paired with USDC. It's going to slow your loss. Whereas over here in this example, yeah, you're earning 2% a day. It's saying if it's doing that, and then both assets go down in price. Or it could be a Brett to USDC pool. It's the same thing still. You go down in price so much harder. And there's no bottom for a coin like this. Ethereum is not going to just die. It's never going to just go to zero. Let's be honest. It can go down a lot, but it's not going to go to zero. It's so your business is never truly going to run out of business. There's always a customer, okay? But with Brett or any other meme coin, insert your random shit coin that you think for some reason has a future just because you like it, because it looks cool, whatever it may be. This goes for a lot more coins than you think, by the way. But you chase this, and then your equity in that business, you might have put 10 grand in here, can just go to 2 grand overnight. And I only tell you this because I've done it. I've made the mistakes. I'm trying to pass those on to each and every single person watching this video here. Not to mention that you're going to feel like a complete asshole whenever this APR, based off volume, as this starts tanking, less people start holding it. They don't want it anymore. No one's buying it. And outside of sales, the volume drops significantly because no one's buying. And that 600% APR that lured you in drops to, my Brett ETH pool right now, bro, 30%. And this is not a testimony from Brett to ETH or anything like that. But I'll tell you, it does 30. And on good days, when it's high volume, I see that go up to like 100%, right? Good days, mine is doing 100%. Now, because it being Brett, I can make a lot of appreciation off of this pool if the market pumps back. If. It has no need to. There's no guarantee it ever will. But if I'm making around this APR percentage, think about the smart business decision of making about the same APR, if not better, at the lows, and my risk level being literally like 1,000 times better. I'm holding Ethereum. My business is selling Ethereum. Versus this business is literally the degenerate back dark alley on the backside of like Reddit. You're selling fucking Brett. Who the fuck is buying Brett? I mean, I have some Brett. Jake loves Brett. This is not a Brett slander video. It actually has nothing to do with Brett. It's just the first meme coin I thought of, and it's the example I'm using. I literally have this pool, so I'm not like telling you you're a complete asshole. But you need to be careful. You need to be so careful, guys, because that's the thing. So not only will the 600% APR not out-earn a drawdown, but if it drops here too, then you're fucked from each side. You're fucked from each side, boys. So do not sacrifice the quality. If you already held Brett beforehand or whatever meme coin, insert meme coin here, this actually, I would say, is a better strategy than just holding it raw. Because if you're holding Brett raw and Brett drops in price, your portfolio just goes like this. You know. Okay? If you're in a pool, here's the difference. You have all this Brett and you have all this ETH too. Let's see. let's go ahead and get back to this. You have all this Brett, but you have all this ETH too. And because you have this ETH, you're not 100% exposed to Brett at one time, so you lose money a little bit slower, even though ETH is also going down in value, assuming the market's in a downtrend. It could not be in a downtrend, and your ETH just goes to shit. But you slowly start to switch over from all this ETH to all this Brett. You slowly switch over, so you lose money at a slower rate than if you're holding it raw. And you also, earning this APR, are printing just more and more for free. And then you're a happy little degenerate that you're like, at least it's not as bad as it would have been. Type shit. And that's the game. And that's the game. It's hard to call this a true business, but if I was going to gamble with memes, which I do now and time again, it is in a business mindset, as close as it can be. But the foundation of your portfolio needs to be strong blue chip asset pairs, assets that will win for sure, and with a smaller percentage of your portfolio, let's say 20% max is a good rule of thumb. That's where you use your little degen stuff that pays you a significant APR. If you find something that you like and want to hold, and it's doing something crazy like this, well, it's freaking cool to see that 20% of your portfolio can sometimes out-earn the other 80%. It's awesome to see. But just keep in mind, the other 80% of your portfolio won't just Control-Alt-Delete itself overnight, whereas you might wake up to this and it literally is worth $0. That is the risk. That is the game. Hopefully this is clicking, boys. Drop some comments down below. If you have any questions, if this is making sense, let me know. Let me know if it was eye-opening. I kind of like this style of video as well. Don't worry, I'm gonna keep making lots of the old content as well, especially in Thailand. Look at the camera back out. Gonna be a little more real world off of the camera so much. But guys, if you wanna work with me, click that link down below. We'll get you started to where you're making a portfolio that is safe but effective and gets you to start cash flowing that 8, 10, 12% a month. I've done it for 140 other people inside our community. You can do it too. You just have to get started. You just have to get started, guys. Hopefully by the time you're watching this, I am getting started on the way to Thailand, if not super, super soon. I'm filming this in the middle of January. Should be dropping soon, boys. And again, if you want to work with me, click that link down below. And if you do it in time, maybe, just maybe, you can make it to the mastermind in Thailand. So boys, if not, I will see you in the next video. Right down there. Peace.